I have been obsessed with cars and engines and such since I was old enough to know what they were. And I'm apparently not capable of doing anything else, so I've decided that we're just going to admit that we're never going to do anything else with our lives and just keep playing with cars as long as I can. My wasted youth was really just a scale version of my wasted adult life, and I've decided to quit fighting it and just accept that you're obsessed with cars and are incapable of doing anything else. I don't think anybody's going to sit here and try and convince you that this is normal or even healthy, I guess. But I also think that if you're not obsessed with something, are you really exploring it to its limit? I don't know. I really don't know about any of that. People were Franker pranks. Anybody wondering what the inside of my head looks like? Well, this is pretty much it. Crusty tires, dogs, this one in particular. Say hello, Frankers. No, you should say hello. Okay, well, she doesn't want to. So, why do the Patreon channel? I did think a lot about this before I decided to do it. It has been suggested to me very generously by multiple viewers of our YouTube channel, and also by other YouTube creators who have suggested that it does free up a little time to do a little better job on the videos, which is kind of the goal. I really would like to do, I mean, I have a lot of ideas for videos that I'd like to do, but a lot of it requires a lot of time and help from friends, and even your friends can't volunteer endless amounts of time for your bullshit. So a lot of the videos that I want to do are going to take more than 20 minutes to put together. Some of them will take days and weeks, but I want to give it a try because enough people have told me that they think that there's something a little different about it, that maybe it's worth preserving it. So let's give it a go. Let's have a look at what we're going to work on. Well, good afternoon. I thought I would put this together and just walk everybody through kind of where we're at, because there's a lot of different projects here, and they all are going to get done. So, in no particular order, let's just see what we're working on. Some of this will eventually end up being detailed on YouTube, and some of it we'll just do ourselves here and have a looky. So, the SM is actually coming along now. I'm moving back towards reassembling the engine bay. I want to start it before it has sat for too long, because leaving things sitting around with gas in the carburetors is never good. So I have to put all this back together just so we can fire it up for a couple of minutes. And once that is assembled, we'll be assembling the rest of the suspension bits, and then we're going to move on. The big roadblock on the SM right now, and it's not terrible, is the headlights. There's nothing I can do except spend money on these. I cannot really do silver plating myself. So that is the hold up. I mentioned when I was working on the sheet metal that I wanted to finish the front of the car before going on to the rest of it, and that is still the case. However, if I'm going to be held up by how long those lights are going to take or how much they're going to cost, I may begin some repairs on the doors, because the sheet metal and rough bodywork is more or less finished ahead of the windshield. You can see the bottom of the door has rust. Hey Frankers, are you helping? That's very good. Let's have a move your bum. There we go. So depending on how that looks when I get it apart, we may have to section in the bottom piece of the door. Or it turns out that it's not that bad, in which case we're just going to clean everything up and get it ready for paint. The door is actually extremely straight, and other than the corrosion on the bottom, is really a sand and paint situation. This quarter, gonna need probably the bottom inch or two replaced, as well as the area around the wheel arch. That's a major repair. To do it properly, I'm considering removing both quarter panels and repairing them on the bench and then welding them back on, just to do a nicer job. On the other hand, removing them is a job in itself. So I will have to, I'm still open on that. I don't know. I will, happy to do it either way. The hatch is in excellent shape. And ditto this side. Door, quite good. Quarter panel. This is actually a very insignificant part of the repair. I did shoot a test coat on the fender, just to see if I liked it. This was the color they gave me to match this. Obviously it's not very close. I didn't really care if it matched. I just wanted to see if I liked the way it looks on the car, and frankly I don't. So the color change is actually a very realistic option at this point, so that's kind of exciting for me, because when I added up all the stuff I have to fix, you don't really save much time by not painting a few door jambs. So yes, I'm here. I'll be right there. No, you just take it easy. Okay, 60 Fury. Pretty much everybody's up to date on this. The next thing, while I'm in here waiting for a chance to finish the bodywork, I'm going to do all the stuff that is not bodywork, which would be mechanical, brakes, and the dash we already saw, and then the interior, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm not sure how much you guys want to see upholstery work. I would be more than happy to do the upholstery in a series just for Patreon, because I don't know if it would be something that is going to be worth the gigantic amount of editing to make it into a YouTube video that makes $10. So the upholstery, a major job. I have a lot of fun ideas for it, and I do want to save, I do want the interior of the car to be nice. So anyway, 60 Fury, not disappointed at all. That car is, this is going to be an epic car, and I don't care how much work it takes. It's going to be worth doing. What is the other current projects? This is probably not going on YouTube, but if you guys are interested in seeing some collision repair, this I bought for myself so that I don't have to drive my gross, dirty, covered in dog barf truck everywhere. Richard, my French car expert friend, bought this at the write-off auction, and then he seemed to think that I wanted too much money to fix it, which is fair, so he wisely sold it to me for what he paid, so that's cool. So I love this kind of car. I do love these things. They're tanks, and this is probably the last really good Volvo. It's a 98 S90, so it's got the great big 6-cylinder engine in it. It's really a lovely low mileage car, but smashed and therefore totaled, and therefore requiring you know, needs 2 doors, needs the post pulled, needs the hinges, needs a bunch of chicken shit stuff as well, but nothing too heavy. It'll come around. But if you guys want nothing to do with this Volvo project, I totally get it. Nobody's signed on here for Volvo rebuilds. And Frankers is gone. Where did she go? Come here, you rat. Come on, that's better. So that is another thing we're doing. that's got to happen either way, whether we film any of it or not. I don't care, because I need something to drive that's not that truck. The plan has not changed on the Plymouth, which is it will be rebuilt as a daily driver and the body left alone. That I would like to do as soon as the 60 Fury is done. Well, these are the things we can talk about, because I want to build that car, I want to build that Ford truck. You know, so if you guys would rather watch one or the other, let me know. You wait there. You coming in? No? Okay. Okay, just what do we got going on here? That's Harley for my neighbor. This Cougar you've probably seen in the background of some of the other videos. There is a story to why I'm painting this car, and I will maybe, if anybody cares, I can tell you. So the Cougar, the thing with the Cougar is that this Cougar has to be done and delivered so that I can put the 60 Fury here, so that we can have some fun with the Fury. So if I'm not putting up as much material as I would like, it's because I'm really hammering this car. I really want this out of here in the next 30 days, and it's a pretty big job. It's been sitting here for 2 years while I've struggled to find the time to do it. I'm happy to do it. It's for a friend, and we're not restoring the car, just putting it back to its correct color. Roadster, obviously, I would love to just take a couple of months and wake up every day and work on this car till it's finished. There's really not that much to do, but there's a lot. I mean, it's just a lot of not very difficult stuff. This sneak preview, I think I filmed some of the work here. This is actually all tacked together and roughed together now. Still lots to do, but that is laid up. So very happy with how that's coming along, but we've got a lot of work to do there yet too. This is an outboard motor I'm doing for Agent 533's buddy. It's a Viking, so that's cool. It's made by OMC. So it's essentially an Evinrude / Johnson of the mid-50s in a 15 horsepower format, and needing complete paint. There's the other piece. So it needs to be painted top to bottom. I'm not doing any mechanical work on it. Apparently it runs fine, but it has been repaired, and it's got a part of a blue leg on it, and needs complete paint. Happy to do it. It might be one of the fun projects we can do as an aside that I'm not necessarily filming for YouTube, because outboard motors are a pretty niche thing on an already pretty niche channel. Niche, I guess that we've been called nichey, whatever that is. So what else is left? This Monster DS project. This is another thing that I am committed to, that is going to take a gigantic amount of time, but it is for another good friend, and it is a lovely DS project top to bottom. This will be a brand new car when it's finished, so that is taking a gigantic amount of time as well. So where are we at? That's the major projects as they sit today. Yeah, you may have noticed that there's a lot of stuff that I have to do that does not go on YouTube, just for one reason or another. I just don't. In the case of something like this Cougar, what I'm doing is repainting somebody else's restoration, so I don't really consider this a project that I want to put my name on, even though I'm quite happy to do it to the very best that I can. That's why we don't spend a lot of time on that. And also, this isn't, oops. The other thing is, this is not a muscle car channel, and it's kind of a muscle car kind of car, and you know, there's 100 guys doing that already. So what we're trying to do here is kind of stuff that not everybody's doing. That's kind of one of the main things with this, is that it stays a little bit weird. Alright, that's what's currently going on. Let's have a look at what might happen sooner or later. Okay, another thing may or may not put aside as a project is this airplane I'm building with my brother-in-law. This is what is the nose cone, or half of it. Tremendous amount of custom fabric, because this is for a Cessna and we're putting it on what's called a Dragonfly. They use the same engine, it's a Continental airplane engine. I know this isn't an airplane channel, so I'm not too worried if nobody wants to see that, but it is some interesting fiberglass fabrication. Let me know if you want to see. We got to make some custom blisters to clear the mufflers there. These are the cardboard mock-ups I made while I was at his house fitting it up. You can see this has already been highly modified. A wedge cut into it there, and we had to cut out the air intake and put it in correctly, because the actual master mold for this was done crooked, which kind of made me laugh. And in the dungeon here, what's in the dungeon, Franks? Okay. Yeah, so the 59 Fury is something that I think would be, I'd be really quite content to make a video about this car. I haven't really even shown it. This car and the story of it is very closely related to the Orange Cougar we were just looking at. So I will, when we get a little closer to putting this thing on the road, I will be happy to relay the story of how I came to end up with at least one car that is not garbage. My 67, we've not really spent a lot of time on. This is a fun car that if anybody wants to have a close look at it, let me know. I'd be happy to walk around it and show you guys. The fun thing about this car is I've had it since I was 17, and that was a while ago. So it doesn't currently need any works, and that's good. The DS has been just an excellent daily driver and very reliable, but now needs actual maintenance. So at some point this car is going to get the brakes done this winter, and it's getting the rack fixed and a few other things. Still starts and runs fine, but getting to the point where it's going to need some attention. The thing with this car is when I put it together, it was a salvage job, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a few months out of it, maybe I'll get a couple of years out of it. And here we are, what, 4 or 5 years later, and it's yet to really give any serious trouble, except that now all the stuff that I ignored when I put the car together really should be done, because it's showing no signs of being terminally ill. So I might as well fix a few things. So that's fun. I do love this car. The Frazer, well, we just did an update on this. Not much has changed. It's winter now, so all of these guys are put away, and I'm just driving the shitty Dodge truck. Text. Let's see who's on the phone. Who's on the phone? It's Dean. It's Mr. Dean on the phone. We'll have to get Dean over here. Bike projects. This is my daily driver. Needs nothing except brake hoses. I'm going to put those together this winter. So not much to show there. This is a project that I would consider doing. It's a Suzuki Water Buffalo. You guys let me know if you like bike projects. Great, we'll do bike projects. I'd like to do one project that only goes on Patreon. So if I were to narrow it down right now, the thing is, it can't be a car, because I have no room to do any more cars. I'm already working on 4 cars at the same time of my own. So if we're going to squeeze a little thing in the extra space, it's either going to be the Water Buffalo, this awesome little CB350, which would be a lot of fun. I know a certain gentleman in Australia who is restoring one of these, and I think he's here with us today somewhere on this, in this little club. Since anything that I would do to this would look like junior high amateur night compared to his restorations, we may or may not pursue that. This is a 1977 Yamaha 3-cylinder shafty. It's my brother's, so I'm not working on it for him. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually, it really runs well. This belongs to Agent 900. It's a Suzuki, and there is nothing wrong with it. So there's nothing to do there. This is the other bike I was considering. I have a bunch of these CBs. This is a 1971. It's actually a pretty desirable model, and I kind of, made a little racer out of it 25 years ago when that thing was, before everybody and their dog was making cafe bikes out of these. So my goal here is to put it back to original. I have all of the pieces I would need. If you guys would be interested in seeing this thing restored to the very best I can do with the pile of pieces that are laying around, I'd be more than happy to do it. I think this would fit in beside the Fury in the new shop, and we could just pick at that. It is a the thing with this is it's already registered and plated, so I could just when it was done, it's ready to go on the road. So that's kind of fun. I've owned it for probably over 20 something years, so not a big deal to put that one together. This will do a look. There used to be 2 mid-60s Suzukis sitting here, and my brother took them and is building them into one good one for his, well, he says it's for his daughters, but I think he's going to ride it. This is another bike project that I will be doing someday. This is a early 70s Yamaha 650 twin. They've gotten rather popular now, and I bought this 20 something years ago, rode it a couple times, and then put it in the garage here. Mechanically decent, but cosmetically just shit. Needs everything. So I would be happy to entertain working on that. This is a Scott Atwater 60 horse 3-cylinder, really cool. Some serious damage on a few pieces from having fallen over. It looks like the generator drive is broken. So anyway, I don't expect anybody to want me to rebuild that, but it would be something I would consider. I do love outboards, as you may have noticed. So that brings us to that's kind of the state of the dump around here right now. Yeah, this is just an introductory vid, so we all kind of know what's going on. I don't know where my dog went. There she is. Fraggers, you can see that my barn here is in dire need of repair. I would really like this to not be this. So if you see that I have decided to take on repairing this part of the building, this is why. It's just an utter disaster. Like, there's snow drifts inside. The roof has all fallen in. It's utterly useless. And that is a major, major problem. It all needs to be torn down and built from scratch. So there's a lot of car parts and stuff that have to be moved out of here and salvaged before this can happen, because it is actually, well, every time I come in here it gets worse. It's a major problem. So, and there, we have some lights working. Oh, one light works still. Okay. So this is the Classic Tire warehouse area. One of the things that we would like to do when I rebuild this shambling mess here is I want to set up a little set where we can shoot our My Classic Tire episodes, and I want to make a fake little tire store so we can have some fun with that. And then there's some more hopeful candidates for repairs and recommissioning. My Mercedes, which through I actually filmed an entire cylinder head rebuild, and I was going to put that all together for YouTube, and then the timing chain snapped and broke the engine. So that was a disappointing test drive, and therefore the video did not get posted. Anyway, there's a good reason for it, and it's okay. I'm not I'm a little disappointed, but it's not a life ruiner. This Hudson really should get put back together. This is a fairly easy project that I would like to do. This is a really decent 51 Kaiser. There's videos excuse me, there's videos of this and this on the on the channel already, and the Mercedes, and the 61 Plymouth that sitting here. This this 61 I've had since I was a kid, so I don't drive it anymore, but it could be recommissioned. It's not a heap. It's okay. You know, just part of the horde, I guess. Frankers, come with me, please. So, this is another 71 CB, and this, I think, will be the donor for the engine for the one I want to put together. This bike is pretty clean, and the engine is excellent, but it was crashed, and the frame, the neck is twisted. So, rather than play with it, why not just take the good engine and put it into my bike that has the straight frame and is already registered? So that's what I'm going to do. The bike is otherwise fairly unremarkable, other than it has a very good engine and it is a 71 model, so all the 71 specific stuff. A whole bunch of extra motors here. And yeah, so anyhow, you can see that there's a few things to do. I think that covers most of the current projects, unless we really dig around. I have another Citroën project underway. Come here, Frank or Franks. Whoop! Whoop! Well, watch out. Slow down, you spaz. Yeah, so I think maybe one of the first things we're going to do that's going to go on YouTube is a full-on brake job on this car. Because I want to pull it into the other shop as a mechanically decent, ready-to-go car. Alright, thank you guys for putting up with this. I hope that I managed to chop it down to some reasonably short length of time, and we'll catch up very soon. And thanks again, and welcome to what I hope is an interesting adventure. This is all completely foreign to me, so, but I think it's also very exciting, because if this works out, I will get to spend a lot more time on my own cars and the projects that I want to do. And Ranker's not saying goodbye. She wants to go inside. Okay, how'd you go? Good girl. Yeah, alright, well, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna run inside now and edit this very badly. I guess I should say one of the things about the Patreon channel and putting out videos on it is that if they're not going out to the general public, the editing will be, you know, for lack of a better word, pretty sloppy. It's going to be chopped, because I would rather concentrate on putting out you know, getting more done and putting up more videos than worrying about all the transitions and setting the volumes and putting the credits and the music and all that shit. I mean, I like doing all that, but if there's only a few of us here, we all know what time it is, so we'll just do it the fast way. So I'm going to chop this up, and I'll see you guys very shortly.